You're at the Watchmen Way, April 25th, 2020. Uh, Looks like President Trump's setup is coming around. Uh, I think news came out about General Flynn being exonerated the last couple of days. And I think he put out a tweet yesterday, yesterday or the day before. Basically, they set up the FBI. You know, it's as the FBI was setting up General Flynn, right? Um, doesn't it seem odd to you that President Trump seemed to invite so many deep staters into positions around him? It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake. It was brilliant. he he played these guys. Is masterful. The way he worked them over. Um, Things like Flynn going to a law firm that had ties to the Clintons. I mean, they knew what was going on from the beginning, and they just let these guys hang themselves, right? You think General Flynn was, I mean, this guy's been around for a long time. He knows what the deep state and the globalists are about. He knows there are mortal enemies. You think he let his guard down when he's talking to these FBI agents, and it's like his first week on the job? You don't think he knew where they were going? You don't think that they weren't suspicious of the motives of the FBI? That he just kind of walked into a trap and they fooled him, they pulled the wool over his eyes? No. These guys, first of all, they're not smart enough. That's the bottom line. They're yes men. They're really mid-level managers as far as talent goes who were promoted above their capabilities because they were yes men. They're not guys that can think on their own. And you will see as we go through this process and all of this crap is exposed, how stupid they really were. Arrogant and ignorant, I think describes it pretty well. They thought that they were smarter. They thought they had everything on their side. And they hugely underrated President Trump and his team, and they're paying for it dearly. A lot of them with their lives, because they're guilty of treason. And there was some indictments that a YouTuber put out yesterday. I think maybe this morning. It was this morning or yesterday. These haven't been confirmed, but it's looking like Brennan. I mean, basically everything the Anon said looks like Comey, Lynch, Brennan, Clapper, Stroke, Page, Yates are all being indicted or have been indicted. And I think the other thing that has been overlooked is it's pretty apparent now that there have been a lot of people that have been at least detained by the White Hats. We know Hanks and Ellen and Oprah and others, Clinton too. I think both the Clintons, and many others. You know, with reports of wearing ankle bracelets, reports of being arrested. Well, I think what they did was they took them into custody, questioned them, took their passports, and they let them back out, like under house arrest or whatever. But they're going to get a lot more information from them being on the outside than from them being on the inside, right? Because when they're on the outside, they're free to communicate with whoever they want. I think they might be able to go within limits. I think they can't leave the United States. They might not be able to leave the state they're residing in. They've got a pretty short leash on them, but they can move around. Well, what are they going to learn if these people are sitting in jail? They're not going to learn anything because they're not going to talk. But when they're out, they want to talk a lot because there's still things that they're going to try and do to help themselves. And that means reaching out to think about it for a second. Think about the white hats coming down on you, and you know where this is headed. If people like Hanks, it's very likely he's going to be executed for the things he's done to kids. You don't think he's going to be crying to every person he can who might be able to help him? Or it's just a treasure trove for investigators. And you think that they've got encrypted devices or something they can sneak through? There's nothing they're going to sneak through. They're on these guys. I think it's going to come out as we go through this process and the arrests start, which it sounds like they're starting this weekend. I think a lot of these people have already been. It was catch and release, right? Only you got a wire on them now. They can't go far. That's I think where we're at. Yeah, the Flynn case is a joke. There's no case there. There never was a case. It was completely fabricated. And he went along with it just to let them screw themselves. Ray's a big question, I think. I think he could be another one that they let in just to hang himself, to expose them. I think that's what Ray was all about. I think Ray's, my gut feeling is Ray's a rat. We'll see how it plays out, but at least his responses to a lot of these serious issues that came up in all of this, the FISA, General Flynn. Well, and here's the thing. It's impossible that he's playing a role, right? That he's there to make the black hats think that he's with them. But it's I think more likely that he might be a black hat and he might be going down with the ship. We'll see how it plays out. In 2020, this is a Zero Hedge headline. Oil exporter income will plunge by over $1 trillion. $1 trillion in losses over last year. You think the economy's coming back? Not going to happen. Forcing widespread stock liquidations. Uh, Kim from North Korea on life support. Reports out of Japan is that he's on life support right now. Um, I'm not sure that it makes a lot of difference unless there are elements in North Korea that are, we're trying to assassinate him so that they could seize power. I'm not. It doesn't. As far as the average American's concerned, it really isn't going to, I think, have any impact on us. No matter what happens, there's not going to be a nuclear war. They're not going to come up magically with some nuclear weapon. I think it's more likely that we install someone who is going to be cooperative with the peace process and with President Trump and America's agenda of, peace and harmony throughout the world. I think that's probably more likely. So I'm not the least bit concerned about how this plays out. It's you have to understand that for all these really every country in the world right now, this is a matter of economics. Um, North Korea doesn't have any choice um, except to cooperate. If they want a strong, thriving country, it's not going to happen by bucking the what's right. If they're on this a leader comes into power there, and I don't think this is going to happen. But they're going nowhere. If they're bucking the system, if they're going to try and push the globalist agenda or continue to push it, it's not going to fly. I mean, they're not. They're going to starve. Their only chance at peace and prosperity is by doing the smart thing, the right thing. Kind of like the way, do the right thing, tell the truth, be a good neighbor. It's not hard. This is going to be easy once these monsters are gone, once this evil is eradicated. It has been ruling over us for thousands of years. It's over. This 2020 is it, guys. And so these little chess games, us as just average Americans, there's nothing I don't see anywhere in the world that is a concern for the average American. I mean, there are going to be concerns for different businesses with some of the moves that are being made around the world. But as far as how it impacts us, it's all positive. There's nothing negative I see in any of these moves. And ultimately, we're headed exactly where we want to be. 1,000 years of peace and prosperity, man's greatest age, the greatest transfer of wealth in human history, man's greatest accomplishment of defeating this evil that's happening right now. It's happening right now. Just think about that. Think about what that means to the world and how it changes the world. And not just the evil, but the technology that's been withheld from us. 0-point energy, cures for virtually every ailment known to mankind, including cancer. Anti-gravity technology. The stuff that we've got is mind-blowing. Stuff that we've reversed engineered. And if you think that we're alone here, there aren't any aliens, or trust me, that's all going to be part of it. You're going to hear about it. there are many different alien races, and they have been in contact with the United States, with our country. It's all going to come out. Again, there's no. I think we've got more to gain than lose from the. And not that there aren't concerns, right? Because these races, most of them are, and we're catching up, but most of them they're far advanced civilizations, and there's good and there's bad, and I think again, as far as what it means to us on the streets, there's no downside to what's happening in any of these areas. We're seeing, I talked about this last night, we're seeing way too much fear based on reality, and we've got to get away from it. It's not helping us. It's holding us back. And it's playing right into the globalist hands. And not that they can change anything, but they can make it harder on people. If your head isn't in the right place, and you're agonizing over these things that there's no reason to agonize over, you're playing into their hands. So don't just there's everything that's happening is for the best of humanity, worldwide humanity, not just America. Embrace that change. Don't fear it. I think what we're seeing is a reaction more to the fear of change than what's actually going to happen. And that's what gets me is I think, the more people we can get to and get on board with what's going down, the less loss we're going to have. Because I think that there are a lot of people who aren't thinking right because they don't have all of the information. I think a lot of them are gonna be so fearful they're gonna choose to end it, and it's crazy at this point to know where we're at, and we are there. I mean, this is it. We're at the end of this reign of evil. Their day is done. Good has won. Good has defeated evil. There's no downside. It's all upside. It's a tragedy that anyone would commit suicide at this moment in time. Because this should be the last moment in time that you would ever want to commit suicide. This is the greatest time to be alive in history. Why would you commit suicide? The things that we're going to see, heaven on earth. It's certainly, there's nothing to be worried about. Take a deep breath and use your critical thinking skills and look at what's going on around the world and understand all these changes are for the better. Everything that's going on, the swamp draining, the economy collapsing, the pedophiles being eradicated. Explain the downside. It's not there. And I think, as part of what we do as Watchmen, it's our responsibility to try and calm our brothers and sisters. it's crazy what I'm seeing out there. That people are so, um, and that's what I don't get. The media still, even as the mainstream media, as wrong, well, not wrong, as corrupt as they've been. It's not wrong. It's not a mistake. The things they've been doing, it's corrupt. It's part of the agenda, right? They're working for the deep state. Um, that people don't see through it, I guess, is my because they're the ones that are driving this whole thing. And here's the other thing. I think that show is about over because I think we're real close. Any day now, I believe that President Trump is going to seize control of mainstream media. He is going to seize 100% control of CNN, NBC, ABC, everything. He needs to, because there is a plot, has been a plot, since the Second World War, for deep state players to overthrow our government. And he's got all the evidence. It's all done now. The indictments are in. He doesn't need to drag this out very much longer. I expect within the next week or two, by the end of the month, I think, we're going to know a lot more. And I think it's time. I don't have all the information President Trump does, but I can see in all the people I talk to, what I see happening. People are ready for it. People are ready for justice to be served. They're ready for America to go back to the rule of law, because we haven't really been a country of following the rule of law for a long time now. This is a sad truth. And that's all going to come out with what's going to happen with the FBI, with what's going to happen with the CIA, with what's going to happen with the Fed, with what's going to happen with the economy and all the big banksters. It's all going to be exposed. And it's going to be shocking for most of America. Probably 75%. Our people are going to be blown away. And again, we got to be there to answer questions, because trust me, we're going to be overwhelmed when this finally breaks as Watchmen. And that's what we're here for, right? I mean, that's what we've been getting ready for, what we've been preparing for. So it's all good, guys. Another Zero Hedge headline: capitalism on life support. Now, this is, trolls speaking, because you can't confuse what we've had for the last 20 years, at least, as capitalism. I mean, really, probably you've got to go back to 71 when we went off the gold standard. That was the beginning of the end. It's been a socialist movement, not a capitalistic movement. All this free money, does that sound like capitalism to you? All these bailouts, that's not capitalism. That's socialism. So it's like when they try and confuse people between a democracy and a republic. We don't have a democracy. We have a constitutional republic. In a democracy, majority rules, right? The 51% can tell the 49% how to live their lives, basically, is what it boils down to in a democracy. With a constitutional republic, you've got your voting, but you've got to keep your actions within the parameters of the Constitution. So it's a controlled situation, right? The majority doesn't always rule because they can't overrule the Constitution. And that's what makes us different here. Well, it's the same thing with how they're trying to portray capitalism. You know, they're trying to portray what we've had lately as capitalism, and it's not. So it's, again, propaganda to make people believe that capitalism is a bad thing. And listen, that's what one of the things that made our country great and will continue to make us great in the future. Capitalism's going nowhere. You know, what's the alternative? Not what we want in America. And I believe the rest of the world is going to agree. Um, Another headline is Zero Hedge. They've got to feed their children. Cash-strapped businesses reopen in Georgia as 16 states push to end the lockdowns. Confusion reigns. And this is why what I see developing is we're going to open up the economy. I think President Trump's going to try and get it done first part of it, you know, May. I think they're going to start pushing. But here's going to be if he doesn't get control of the mainstream media, they're gonna put the fear of God in these people and tell them that it's too soon and you can't go out and you're gonna get killed. And I think that's one of the reasons that probably before he opens it or makes the big push to open it, he might take down the mainstream media. Otherwise, they're going to block him. And not that they're going to be able to stop him, but just think about it. Think about the crazy crap you've seen. And then let me stress again, this is not a pandemic. This is not a dangerous virus. This is 1/10 the mortality rate of the flu, the common flu. It's a joke, guys. It was presented as a way to cover the swamp takedown and the economic collapse and the exposure of the pedophiles. But what they'll do is the mainstream media, the deep state, if they're allowed to, is they'll basically keep a reopening from happening in a practical sense. If they scare everyone into staying home, this thing's going to fall on its face. The economy can't recover unless we're unified and all on the same page. And it's not just on going back to work, but also on the threat here. And there is no threat. I guess the better way to say it is on the reality of the threat. And the reality of the threat is there is no threat. This is no worse than a common flu. There's no reason to get a vaccination. There's no reason to sweat this. I think at least all the people that I've heard about that have died have either been compromised, they were elderly, had other issues, or they took Advil or ibuprofen, which accelerated the effects of the virus. It wasn't the virus, it was what they gave people to treat the virus or what they took to treat the virus. So I think it's important that, and I think maybe the reason, it might be the main reason that he seizes control of the media is to end this charade and start putting out accurate news again. And we haven't had that, guys, since the Second World War. It's been since the Second World War that we've had true reporting, what our founders intended. Uh, Global virus cases top 200,000. This is a joke. 7.5 billion. This thing's been around for 2 months plus now. It's only infected 200,000 people. This is not a pandemic. It's a joke. Um, yeah, we talked about the people are going to be or have been indicted around the FISA, and then it's just full steam ahead after this, guys. I think they're going to start dropping like flies. Um, again, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. Grab the popcorn. Enjoy this show. Um, if you're prepared, there is nothing to worry about here. And if you're not prepared, there's probably very little to worry about. I mean, you're going to have to worry about your financial future if you don't have physical silver and Litecoin. I don't think anybody's going to starve in America. I think that there may be shortages, but we're not going to starve. Um, President Trump's on top of this. Just got to let him do his job. Okay, Lisa, how you doing? Susie, hello. Terry, hello. Shirley, how you doing? Kevin, what's up? Uh, Buffy. Well, yeah, of course the liberals want want us totally dependent on the government, but that's about to end. Deborah, how you doing? Pennsylvania just removed 200 deaths that were being attributed to the virus. Yeah, yeah. People are starting to figure out. In fact, I saw somewhere that they were actually that these hospitals were actually being paid more to claim patients died of the virus. Barbara, how you doing? Terry, hello. Joseph, what's up? Well, Joseph saying the world was calling us great Satan. Well, yeah, and rightfully so. And it's based on our CIA. Um, things I saw as a kid. Assassinations, regime changes, getting rid of democratic leaders and replacing them with socialist leaders because they were more business friendly. That was our CIA. Listen, I, I don't know that they know the death toll, but it has to be in the millions that our CIA is responsible for. Millions of deaths around the world. And just look at South America. How many of those regimes went socialist that we backed, and how many people ended up disappearing? Hundreds of thousands in some of these countries. It doesn't really make you feel good about things that we've and listen, the buck stops with us. We there's no true American that would condone the things that they did, but they did them, and they did them with our tax dollars and our weapons and our know-how. Um, yeah, I don't blame the world for how they felt about us. I mean, if you lost a relative to one of our schemes, one of our CIA deep state schemes, you'd be pretty bitter too. And I wouldn't blame you. We've got a lot to make up for. And you know, a big part of it is what we're doing right now. I mean, this almost clears the slate because the real monsters that have been responsible for all these things, the driving force behind all of the evil that our CIA has been responsible for, is the globalists, the deep state, the elite, the cabal, the Illuminati that are all coming down. Nothing but good, guys. Darren, how you doing? Barbara, hello. Stephanie, how you doing? Cheryl, hello. Everybody's growing their own food. That's awesome. Keep that going, guys. Being self-sufficient. Jesse, how you doing? Well, yeah, trust me, guys. Not only is Facebook watching, but so's the Secret Service and probably the NSA. That's all. That's all. It's fine. Let them watch. Yeah, we will. We will make sure that this evil never comes back again. The Watchmen are going to be on top of this, and as well as everybody around the world, because we cannot let them get another foothold. And I just don't see it happening because we're going to be so on guard from here on out. I just don't see how they're going to sneak back in. Yeah, yeah. Listen, guys. I don't really I don't really pull many punches with what I say, but we want to be a little bit careful about the topics that we're covering. Remember now, don't lose sight of this. Nothing has changed for the Watchmen. Our job is still to red pill and prepare. Wake people up and prepare them for what's coming. So don't get off track with some of this other stuff. Um, we need to focus on our job. All this other stuff, I keep saying, it's going to fall into place. Don't be distracted. And don't get yourself banned because this is a critical time. We need everybody out there. And you're not going to get banned if you're focused on red pilling and preparing. You don't need to get into the Muslim issue. You don't really need to get too deep into the pedophilia. Focus on the economy. That's something everybody can see right now, something everybody's concerned about. So get them prepared that way. Extra food, everything that we're telling them to be ready, it doesn't make any difference what we use to get them prepared. Whether it's the economy or whether it's the pedophilia. I can tell you the economy is a lot easier for people to swallow. If we can get them, and with what's going on around the world and them seeing, it's also got their attention. So don't feel like you've got to tell them everything. All we need to do is get them prepared. Once they're prepared, they'll get through the rough patch. We want to make sure that, and it's more likely that they'll get cognitive dissonance, right? If they haven't been red pilled yet, At least they won't, when they're prepared, they won't have to be out on the streets because that's where it gets dangerous. You know, people having cognitive dissonance sitting at home, that's the best way this could go. Um, it would almost be nice if we got this out now and we had a week for people to stew on it before everybody went back to work. Or who knows? Um, we don't want this thing going sideways with a bunch of people with cognitive dissonance and you know having to feed their families. It's a recipe for disaster. No, I don't know which way I'm going. So just be careful, guys, and just stay focused. As long as you're focused on red pilling and preparing, you're going to get through this fine. You're not going to have any problems. But we don't want to lose anybody right now. We can't afford to have any watchmen lose their voices. And basically, when you get banned, you're losing a voice. It makes it that much harder to get through to people, right? This is our platform. You know, this is where we do most of our work. So, not that you can't continue, but it makes it more difficult. Dallas, how you doing? Garrett, what's up? Arlene, Lena, hello. Lena wants to know why I'm not afraid of a mysterious death. Um, I can tell you, I was much more concerned about it when Obama was in office. I've said before, I bought a shotgun especially for the Obama administration. uh, Semi-automatic, 10 shot, 12 gauge shotgun. Um, because I knew that if this continued, they were going to kick in my front door at some point. Now I'm not as concerned. I mean, yeah, there's certainly people that would like to see me gone, but I just trust that God's going to protect me, and I'm doing His work, and so far so good. But I've got no fear doing this, guys. It's God's work. God's kept me here this long, and I think we're through the worst of it. So we'll see. No fear though. No, not at all. Not at all, Lena. It's all good. Joe, what's up? Cody, what's up? Cecil, the CIA's going, guys. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. The CIA is done. And the Fed, done. IRS, done. Yeah, okay. Here's a good example. Joseph's found out that his neighbor works in a factory. He's got the virus. Don't take Advil. Don't take ibuprofen. Drink tonic water and zinc. This is nothing to worry about, guys. As long as you don't take Advil or ibuprofen, this is just the flu. So don't be panicked if you get this thing. Quinine water, tonic water, and zinc will cure this. Also try graviola tea. Kathy, how you doing? Kevin, what's up? No, I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, you got apple cider vinegar. We've got colloidal silver. Mike Janman. Anybody who needs colloidal silver, Mike Janman. He's a longtime Watchmen member. He produces it and he'll mail it to your door at a fraction of what it cost at GNC. Yeah, well, China, there's a lot of things that are going to change with China. But, it's all good, guys. Don't worry about China. Don't worry about North Korea. Don't worry about Iran. Not Lisa's asking about Kim. He's not dead at this point. Um, don't worry about the replacement. Yeah, you're welcome, Roxanne. Uh, Tita, you want to, if you can, there's two things you can do with 401ks, depending. You can pull your money out. Some 401ks, you can actually invest it in physical silver. If you can't get it out and you can do that, you can invest it in physical silver. I would do that. If you can pull it, I'd pull it. The problem is we're running out of time. So you've got to move quickly, whatever you're going to do. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Make a decision and start it on Monday because you can't wait. And then listen, guys, anything on paper, you're going to lose. Pension funds, 401ks, annuities, stocks, bonds, your bank accounts are all going. You got to get your money into physical silver and Litecoin. Assets outside the system. Physical silver and Litecoin. Tessie, how you doing? Lisa, hello. I think Lisa's talking about Kim. David, what's up? Yeah, Cecil's got a good point here. Sounds like Cecil's had a near-death experience. Said it's the most peaceful, loving feeling he's ever experienced. Um, listen, my theory is that most of us, and I think most of the people that are doing this work, doing God's work, are going to end up in heaven. Um, I think we're going to look back and wonder why we fought so hard to stay here because heaven's going to be, you know, I don't think you get any better. And I think when you compare it, even if things are going well, heaven is going to be a step up. So, I have zero fear about what's next. None of us should be fearful. That's part of being spiritually prepared is, understanding that if you're doing God's work and you go down, you don't have anything to worry about. Um, it's all good. I wouldn't send my taxes in. I'm not sending my taxes in, I should say. Looks like Kim has died. Thanks, Kathleen. Um, again, guys, I'm not worried. It really doesn't make any difference. It's going to be fine. Cousin Monica, how you doing? Now Mike is making colloidal copper. Also has many benefits. Hmm. Okay. Oop. D, how you doing? D is late. It's a good way to get detention, D. D. Sounds like Cecil's got an interesting story. Tina, how you doing? Keith, what's up? Yeah, I think the sweats, the tonic water, is sold out because everybody's heard that trick now. But keep after it. Lena's asking if anybody has a Peers account they moved to silver. Nobody that I know of, Lena, but give it a shot. It doesn't hurt to try, guys. Don't just lose it. Try and move it if you can. Robin, how you doing? Barbara had the same experience. Uh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the North and the South unite. I think it would be good for the North if that happened. Good things are coming, guys. Again, not worried about it at all. Yeah, yeah. Don't don't pay your taxes, guys. I listen. I wouldn't be paying any bill that I didn't absolutely have to right now because here's the reality: a reset is coming. And I think it has to happen this year. I don't see how they can push it any further. We're going to go into hyperinflation if they do, and they know it. So this has got a short window. I just don't see it going any further than this year. So hold off on paying anything. I mean, I honestly wouldn't pay anything right now that I didn't have to. Um, that's the end of the questions, guys. Um, Same old. Uh, let's take advantage of every day. Every person matters. Let's not forget our job. It's to red pill and prepare. Let's not lose sight of that. Let's stay focused. Let's not be distracted. Let's stay positive. Let's start these conversations with how would you like to be a part of the greatest transfer of wealth in human history? Who's going to say no to that? Um, and especially right now with the economy, it's working. So stick with the economy right now and the physical silver and the Litecoin. It's all good, guys. Um, Stay positive. Um, Whenever you see the fear out there, get in the middle of it and calm people down. Let's set the example out there. Um, let's get ahead of this thing because the more people that understand what's happening, the easier it's going to be for all of us. I'm going to leave it there for tonight. End it with our prayer for God and country. Amen. I'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.